The smoke was thick, rising into the purple sky of Thalaris 7. A spaceship had crashed. Fire burned across the trees. The metal pieces were still glowing hot. The air smelled like smoke and dust. Everything was silent. Jake Arden, a human soldier from Earth, stepped carefully through the wreckage. His boots crunched broken metal. His eyes scanned every corner. He held his plasma rifle tight in his hands. He had seen the crash from his camp. It wasn't human. It looked like a Zarathi-Shipan alien race known for war and pride. Jake had fought in the last war. He didn't trust any Zarathia, but something pulled him toward the wreck. As he moved deeper into the ruins, he heard something, a soft sound, a whisper. He turned fast, aiming his rifle. But what he saw made him freeze. Behind a broken piece of the ship, a girl was lying on the ground. Not human. Her skin had a soft golden glow. Her hair shimmered like silver. Her eyes, and full of fear, glowed blue in the dim light. She was badly hurt, her arm bleeding. Jake didn't move. She looked at him and spoke in a soft, broken voice. "Please, don't leave me here." Jake blinked. He had expected an enemy. But this girl, she was young, scared, and wounded. He lowered his rifle. "You're Zarathi?" he asked slowly. She nodded weakly. "My name, Lyra." Jake stepped closer. His heart was beating fast. He knew helping her could be dangerous. Her people hated humans, and she was probably important, maybe a pilot, or worse. Still, he couldn't leave her here to die. "Can you walk?" he asked. She tried, but winced in pain. "No, leg is broken." Jake sighed. "Great," he muttered, then gently picked her up. She gasped, but didn't resist. Jake carried her through the forest, heading toward an old Earth hideout nearby. It was a small shelter left from the last battle. As they moved, she looked up at him. "Why are you helping me?" she asked. Jake didn't answer at first. Then he said, "Because you're alive and scared. That's enough." When they reached the shelter, Jake laid her down on a small cot. He cleaned her wound and wrapped her arm. She watched him the whole time, confused. "You fight my people, yet you show kindness," she whispered. Jake gave a small smile. "War makes us all monsters. I don't want to be one today." They sat in silence for a while. Jake gave her water. She drank slowly. Her hands were shaking. "My people will come for me," she said suddenly. "They will not like seeing me with a human." Jake looked at her. "Do they know you survived?" She shook her head. "Not yet. But the signal from my band will call them." Jake looked at her wrist. A small glowing band blinked red. "You're wearing a tracker," he said. "They'll find us soon." "Yes," Lyra said. "And if they do, they will kill you." Jake laughed bitterly. "Of course they will." He walked over to a small console and turned on a jammer. The signal stopped blinking. Lyra looked surprised. "Why? So they don't find you?" "Not yet," Jake said. "Not until you're healed." Lyra stared at him. For the first time, her eyes softened. "No human has ever done this," she said. "You are strange." "Thanks," Jake said, chuckling. Later that night, they both sat quietly. Outside, strange alien birds called in the dark. The fire inside the shelter crackled. Jake looked at her again. "You're not a soldier, are you?" Lyra hesitated. Then she said, "No, I am. The daughter of a Zarathi council member. I was not supposed to be here. This was a secret mission." Jake raised an eyebrow. "A politician's daughter? Great. Now I'm in real trouble." She smiled for the first time. But then, the shelter lights flickered. Jake stood quickly. "That's not good." Outside, something was scanning the forest. A soft hum filled the air. Lyra's face went pale. "It's a Zarathi drone," she whispered. "They found us." Jake grabbed his rifle. "Can you move?" She nodded slowly. He helped her up, holding her steady. The hum grew louder. Lyra looked into his eyes. If they find me with you, they will call me a traitor. Jake looked back at her. Then we better make sure they don't find us at all. They moved into the shadows, slipping out the back of the shelter as the drone flew overhead. The forest was cold and dark. Strange sounds echoed between the trees. Jake and Lyra moved slowly, hiding behind rocks and fallen logs. The Zerathi drone flew above them, searching. Jake held Lyra close. She limped, her legs still weak. Her golden skin glowed softly in the night. She kept looking up, fear in her eyes. We can't go far like this, Jake said. You need rest. There is a cave nearby, Lyra whispered. I saw it when we landed. We can hide there. Jake nodded. Lead the way. After 20 long minutes, they found the cave. It was small, but deep. Cool air drifted from inside. Jake helped her sit down on a rock. She was breathing hard. He looked at her leg. It's getting worse. We need to fix this. I'll be fine, Lyra said, trying to sound strong. Jake didn't believe her. He could see the pain in her eyes. Still, he didn't argue. They sat in silence for a while. The hum of the drone was gone now, safe for the moment. Jake broke the silence. Why do your people hate humans so much? Lyra looked down. They think humans are wild, dangerous. You came from nothing, but you fight like beasts. My people fear your growth. And you? Jake asked. Lyra looked at him. I was taught to hate you, but I don't feel hate now. Jake gave a small smile. Strange world, huh? Lyra looked at him with soft eyes. You saved me, even when I was your enemy. Jake shrugged. You didn't feel like an enemy. Their eyes met. A long moment passed. Something unspoken was growing between them. Something both beautiful and dangerous. Lyra turned away, her face serious. My people have strict laws. Zerathi are forbidden to bond with humans. Even talking too much is a crime. Jake frowned. Why? They believe it weakens our blood. They say human feelings are messy, uncontrolled. Jake chuckled. They're not wrong. Lyra smiled faintly, but her smile faded quickly. If the council finds out I've spoken to you, let alone traveled with you, they will erase me from our records. Erase you, yes? No name, no family, no history, like I never existed. Jake went silent. The weight of her words hit him hard. And still, she added, I'm here with you. Jake looked into her eyes. I didn't ask you to risk that. No, she said softly. But my heart made the choice before I even knew it. Outside the cave, a light appeared. Jake grabbed his rifle and peeked out. A Zerathi patrol was moving through the trees for soldiers in black armor, scanning the ground. They're close, he whispered. Lyra moved to stand. We must go. Now. No, Jake said. You stay hidden. I'll distract them. Lyra held his arm. They will kill you. Jake smiled. Maybe, but if they find you, they'll kill us both. She looked at him like she wanted to say something more, something deep, but instead, she said, come, back alive. Jake nodded and slipped out of the cave. For 10 minutes, Lyra waited, her heart beating fast. She heard voices, shouts, then silence. Suddenly Jake stumbled back into the cave. His shirt was torn, and blood stained his arm. They saw me, he said. I ran, took down one. Others gave up. Lyra rushed to help him. She tore part of her robe and wrapped his arm. You're crazy, she whispered. Jake smiled. You're worth it. She looked at him, this brave, foolish human hand. Her chest tightened. Her breath caught. She had never felt this before. This strange warmth inside. She touched his face gently. You are not like the others. Jake placed his hand over hers. Neither are you. Their faces were close now. Too close. But Lyra suddenly pulled back. No, she said. We can't. If we cross that line, there's no going back. Jake nodded, but his eyes stayed on her. Maybe there's no going back already. She turned away, hiding the emotions on her face. Just then, a soft beep echoed from Lyra's wristband. She looked at it, her face turned pale. "It's my people," she said. "They're coming. My father's ship. It's nearby." Jake stood. "They're tracking you again." "No," she said. "This time, they found me another way." Jake grabbed his pack. "Then we leave now." Lyra didn't move. "I can't run anymore." "Then we hide." She looked at him, her voice shaking. "If they catch me with you, I will be judged, and you will be executed." Jake didn't flinch. Then let them try. Darkness wrapped around the forest like a blanket. The moon on Thalaris 7 was high, casting silver light through the trees. Jake and Lyra moved quickly, their feet crunching over dry leaves and broken twigs. Behind them, the sounds of ships echoed in the air. They were being hunted. Jake held Lyra's hand tightly. Her steps were slower now, her legs still hurt, but she didn't complain. She kept moving, her glowing skin dimmed by dirt and fear. "They're getting close," Jake whispered. "I know," Lyra replied. "They won't stop until they find me." Jake looked around. They needed a place to hide fast. "There's an old Earth outpost nearby," he said. "It's broken, but it might give us a chance." Lyra nodded. "Then let's go." They ran through the trees, breathing hard. A bright blue light suddenly flashed behind them. Search drones, scanning the forest. One of the drones spotted movement. "Target detected," a robotic voice said. "They found us." Jake shouted. He pulled Lyra close and dashed through a thick patch of trees. Branches scratched their arms. Roots tried to trip them, but they kept running. Ahead, Jake saw the old outpost. It was small, half buried in the ground, covered in moss and vines. It looked dead, but Jake knew it had one thing: a working door and heavy walls. He pulled Lyra inside just as a laser shot hit a tree beside them. The door slid shut. Darkness filled the room. "We made it," Jake said, breathing hard. Lyra leaned against the wall, exhausted. For now, Jake turned on a small light. The outpost was dusty, full of old human tools and tech. It had been left here years ago, during the early days of the war. Now, it was forgotten, but it was strong enough to keep drones out. Jake checked the power system. The lights flickered weakly. "It still works," he said with a small smile. Lyra sat down on a bench, holding her side. Jake knelt beside her. "You're bleeding again," he said, opening his bag. He cleaned the wound and wrapped it tightly. She winced, but didn't complain. "You've done this before," she said softly. "Too many times," Jake replied. "War teaches you fast." Lyra looked at him. "I don't want this war anymore." Jake paused, his hands still. "Me neither." They sat quietly. Outside, the forest hummed with the sound of searching machines. Inside, it was still only the sound of their breathing. To break the silence, Jake opened a small box. Inside was an old music chip. He placed it into a player. A soft human melody began to play. Lyra tilted her head. "What is this?" "An old Earth song," Jake said. "It helped me sleep during battles." She closed her eyes and listened. The music was slow, full of emotion. For a moment, it felt like the war was far away. "It's beautiful," Lyra whispered. Jake looked at her. "You're not what I expected from a Zarathi, and you're not the monster they told me about," she replied. Their eyes met again. Something deep passed between them, a quiet connection, growing stronger each moment. But before anything more could happen, a loud voice echoed outside. "Lyra Vera, step outside now." Jake froze. Lyra's face turned pale. "That voice," she whispered. "It's Talek, my cousin. He's one of their scouts." Jake looked through a crack in the wall. Outside stood a tall Zarathi in dark armor, holding a glowing staff. Behind him, 2 more soldiers searched the trees. "He won't leave until he finds you," Lyra said. Jake turned to her. Then we have two choices. Surrender or trick him. Lyra stood slowly. Her face was hard now. I will talk to him. Let me go out first. What? Are you crazy? Jake said. They'll take you. I'll pretend I captured you. It might buy us time. Jake stared at her. You'd lie to your own people. For you, she said softly. Yes. Before Jake could argue, Lyra stepped toward the door. She turned and looked at him. No matter what I say out there, don't react. Trust me. The door opened, and Lyra stepped into the light. Talek turned sharply. Lyra, you're alive. She nodded. Yes, and I found the human. Jake stepped out slowly, his hands raised. Lyra held a small knife to his back. He was trying to escape. I stopped him. Talek narrowed his eyes. You? Captured him? Yes, Lyra said. I know the law. Talek walked closer. He looked at Jake, then back at Lyra. I'll report this, he said. The council will decide his fate. Lyra nodded. Good. But as they turned to leave, Talek leaned in and whispered, You better be telling the truth, cousin. If not, I'll be the one to kill you both. The Zarathi ship was quiet inside. Cold, clean, dark purple lights glowed along the walls. Lyra walked beside Talek, her face calm but her heart racing. Jake followed behind, hands tied, guarded by two tall Zarathi soldiers. They entered the main hall of the ship. It was wide and empty. Metal walls surrounded them like a prison. Jake felt eyes watching him. He didn't speak. He remembered Lyra's words, Trust me. Talek turned to Lyra. You did well, bringing him in. The council will be pleased. Lyra nodded. I know my duty. But her hands were shaking. Talek looked at Jake. Do you know what happens now, human? Jake stayed silent. You will be judged and erased. Painfully. Publicly. Still, Jake said nothing. Talek smirked. Brave, but foolish. He gave a signal. The soldiers dragged Jake down a dark hallway. Where are you taking him? Lyra asked quickly. To the lower cells, Talek replied. Until the council ship arrives tomorrow. Then he will die. Lyra bit her lip. She forced herself to stay calm. Can I see him one last time? She asked. Talek raised an eyebrow. Why? He saved my life, she said. I just want to say goodbye. Talek stared at her for a long moment, then nodded. 5 minutes, no more. He walked away. Lyra turned and followed the guards to the cells. The prison chamber was deep inside the ship. Dim lights flickered above. Cold air filled the space. Jake sat on the floor, his hands still tied. A red light blinked above his head. The guard opened the door. You have 5 minutes, he said. Lyra stepped inside. The door closed behind her. Jake looked up. So, this is goodbye. No, she whispered. She knelt beside him and cut the ropes. We don't have much time. Jake's eyes widened. You're helping me escape. Yes, she said. Talek believes me, for now. But tomorrow, the council will know the truth. They'll take you and kill me. Jake stood. Then we need a plan. Lyra pulled a small crystal from her pocket. This will unlock a hidden transport pod. It's old but still works. You can fly it out of here. Jake frowned. What about you? I'll delay them. Say you broke out. That I chased you. Jake shook his head. No. We go together. They'll know, Lyra said. They'll come after us both. I don't care, Jake said. I'm not leaving without you. Their eyes met in the dim light. She looked away. I don't want to lose you either, she said quietly. They hugged for a moment, holding each other tight. But it didn't last long. The guard knocked on the door. Time's up. Lyra whispered, Go to Bay 3. Take the lower tunnels. I'll meet you there in 10 minutes. Jake nodded, then slipped through the back panel she had unlocked. Back. In the main hall, Talek stood near the command center. His eyes were on the screens. He watched every part of the ship. Then, something caught his eye. A door in the prison area had opened. Alarms hadn't gone off. He frowned. He tapped a button. Show me cell 7. The screen blinked. Empty. Talic. Single quotes. S face turned cold. He tapped his wrist. Guards. Lock the ship. The human has escaped. Find Lyra now. In the tunnels below the ship, Jake ran through the narrow paths. Pipes dripped. Lights flickered. He held the crystal in his hand, his heart pounding. He reached Bay 3. A small dusty transport pod waited there. It was old, but ready. He waited, breathing hard. Come on, Lyra. Don't leave me now. Footsteps echoed behind him. He turned, ready to fight. But it was Lyra. She was running, her hair messy, her eyes full of fear. They know, she said. Talic found out. Then let's go, Jake said. They jumped into the pod. Lyra placed the crystal into the console. The pod powered up just then. Talic appeared at the entrance. Guards behind him. Stop, he shouted. Don't do this. Lyra looked at him. I already have. The pod door closed. Talic raised his weapon, but it was too late. With a loud blast, the pod launched into the air, shooting out of the ship and into the sky. As stars passed around them, Jake looked at Lyra. You really risked everything for me. She smiled sadly. I don't know if this is love, but I know I couldn't let you die. Jake reached for her hand. Whatever this is, I'm glad it's real. But Lyra didn't smile this time. They won't stop, Jake, she whispered. The council will hunt us. Jake looked out the window at the stars ahead. Then let them come. The stars moved slowly outside the small pod window. The galaxy looked peaceful from here, but Jake knew the peace wouldn't last. Inside the escape pod, everything felt tight and quiet. The only sounds were the soft hum of the engine and the quiet breathing of Lyra. She sat beside him, her eyes locked on the stars. They had escaped, but for how long? We'll need to find a place to land, Jake said softly. Somewhere far. Somewhere they won't search. Lyra didn't answer at first. She looked tired. Her golden skin was pale now. The last few days had taken everything from her. There's a planet nearby, she said finally. Zerathi. Maps call it Naraka. It's empty, cold, but safe. Now? Jake nodded. Set the course. Lyra tapped the controls with shaky fingers. The pod changed direction, moving silently through the stars. Jake checked the supplies. 1 day of water, 2 packs of food, no weapons, and no long range signal. Then we'll need luck, Lyra said. Jake sat back in his seat. His eyes stayed on Lyra. Back there on the ship, he said, you could have left me. But you didn't. Lyra turned to him. I couldn't. You saved me first. I just returned the favor. Jake smiled. No, Lyra, this wasn't just about favors, was it? She looked down, silent. I don't know what this feeling is, she whispered, but when I saw them pulling you away, something inside me broke. Jake nodded. I felt the same. On Earth, we call that love. Lyra looked up, surprised. Love. Jake leaned forward. It's not about rules. It's about choosing someone, even when everything says you shouldn't. Her lips trembled. Zerathi law says I should forget you. That even thinking of you is a sin. Then let's break the law together, Jake said. For a moment, they smiled. But the moment didn't last. The pod shook suddenly. A warning light flashed red. What was that? Jake asked. Lyra looked at the screen. Another ship, small, fast, coming straight at us. Jake stood. Can we outrun it? Lyra shook her head. This pod isn't made for speed. Jake clenched his fists. They found us already. No, Lyra said. This is not a Zerathi ship. It's human. Jake blinked. What? The screen flashed a name. ESS Valkyrie, Earth Space Service. It's one of ours, Jake said. But if they see you, they might shoot me, Lyra finished. Jake quickly sent a message. Human survivor aboard. Need help. Do not fire. Urgent. There was silence for a few seconds. Then a voice crackled through the speaker. This is Captain Reyna of the ESS Valkyrie. Identify yourself. Sergeant Jake Arden, Jake replied. Earth Defense, 9th Unit. I'm with an alien passenger. She's friendly. There was a pause. Then, bring the pod in slowly. One wrong move, and we shoot. The pod docked with the Valkyrie. The doors opened with a hiss. Light filled the small cabin. 5 human soldiers pointed their guns at Jake. And Lyra. Step out, hands up. One shouted. Jake raised his hands. Don't shoot, she's not a threat. Lyra stepped forward, slow and calm. I mean no harm. Captain Reyna, a tall woman with gray armor and sharp eyes, stepped forward. You brought a Zarathi here. Are you out of your mind? She saved me, Jake said. And I saved her. She's not like the others. Reyna looked at Lyra. Is this true? Yes, Lyra said. We escaped together. My people want him dead, and me too. Reyna looked at both of them for a long moment, then lowered her gun. Put them in different rooms, she told the guards. We'll see if their stories match. Hours later, Jake sat in a small medical bay. A doctor cleaned his wounds. He asked for news about Earth, the war, and Lyra, but no one gave answers. Finally, the door opened. Lyra entered, her eyes searching the room. Jake stood up. They let you out. They believe us, she said. But they don't trust us. Yet, Jake smiled. I can live with that. Lyra walked closer. They'll take us to Earth, but they warned MIT won't be easy. Humans fear Zarathi. Jake nodded. Let them fear. We'll face it together. But what about my people? Lyra asked. When they find out I'm alive, and with you, they'll send hunters, assassins. My father, he'll send the best. Jake looked into her eyes. Let them come. I'd rather fight the whole galaxy than live without you. Lyra touched his face gently. Then we fight. Together. The night sky over the Zandari capital was full of flames. Explosions echoed in the distance, as alarms screamed through the city. Buildings burned, lights blinked on and off, and people ran for safety. The Empire had discovered everything, Elira's secret, the humans' presence, and their forbidden love. Now, they were out for blood. Inside a dark tunnel under the city, Elira and Jace moved quickly. Their footsteps echoed on the metal floor. Jace held a small light while Elira read the digital map. Both were breathing hard, not just from the run, but from fear. We don't have much time, Elira whispered, her voice shaking. They'll search the tunnels next. Jace nodded. Then we keep moving. What's the fastest way out? Elira pointed forward. There's an old transport rail that leads out of the city. It hasn't been used in years, but it might work. Suddenly, a loud boom shook the tunnel. Dust and debris fell from the ceiling. Behind them, red lights lit up the entrance. Drones were coming fast and loud. Go, Jace yelled, grabbing Elira's hand. They ran down the tunnel, deeper and deeper. The noise behind them grew louder. The drones were not far. Elira opened an old control panel on the wall. Sparks flew as she connected to wires. The door ahead slid open just enough for them to squeeze through. They entered a large, dark chamber. The rail car sat silent and dusty. Jace looked around. Can it still run? We'll find out, Elira said, jumping inside. She began working fast, pressing buttons, and hot-wiring the system. Jace stood guard, watching the tunnel entrance. His hands trembled, but his eyes stayed sharp. The drones appeared, red eyes glowing in the dark. Come on, Elira, he shouted. The old rail car suddenly came to life. Lights blinked on, and the engine hummed. Get in, Elira yelled. JACE jumped aboard as the car began moving. The drones fired, hitting the walls and floor around them. Sparks flew everywhere, but the car sped away, deeper into the tunnel. For a few moments, It was just darkness and the sound of wheels on metal. Alira leaned back, breathing hard. Jace sat beside her, checking a small wound on his arm. "You're hit," she said, reaching for a bandage. "It's nothing," he replied. "Are you okay?" Alira looked at him, her eyes full of sadness. "We can't go back. Not ever." Jace nodded. "Then we go forward. Wherever that leads." They stayed quiet as the rail car carried them away from the burning city. But peace didn't last long. The tunnel ahead had collapsed. Alira hit the brakes, but it was too late. The rail car crashed into the rubble and flipped onto its side. Darkness, silence. When Jace opened his eyes, he was trapped under debris. His head ached, and his body was bruised. "Alira," he called weakly. A faint voice replied, "Jace, I'm here." He crawled toward the sound. He found her under a metal beam, her leg pinned. "I can't move," she whispered. Jace used all his strength to lift the beam. His arms shook, but he didn't stop. Finally, it rolled off, and he pulled Alira free. "Thank you," she said, her voice soft. They leaned against the tunnel wall, bloodied and tired, but they were alive. "What now?" Alira asked. "There's a way out," Jace said, pointing to a ladder on the wall. "It leads to the surface." He helped her up, and, together, they climbed. The ladder creaked, but held. When they reached the top, Jace pushed open the hatch. Cold air hit their faces. They were in the outer wilds, far from the city. Above them, the stars burned bright. Ships flew overhead, but none noticed them. They were free for now. Alira sat on the ground, looking up at the sky. "Everything's gone," she said. "My people, my life." "You're not alone," Jace replied. "We have each other." She looked at him, eyes full of tears. "Do you think we'll ever find a place where we belong?" Jace smiled gently. "Maybe not yet, but we'll keep looking together." As the fire behind them faded into the distance, they walked into the unknown, side by side, hearts still full of hope. After escaping the burning skies of Thalaris 7, Arya and Jack finally landed on Earth. The ship was damaged, and they had nothing but each other. Arya looked out the window and saw green trees, blue lakes, and warm sunlight. It was all so different from her world, more alive, more open, more free. Jack stepped out first. He smiled as the soft wind touched his face. "Welcome to Earth," he said, turning to Arya. She stepped out slowly. The air felt lighter, and the colors seemed brighter. Birds flew above them. Flowers danced with the breeze. Arya had never seen anything like it. Her planet was colder, darker. This was something new, something beautiful. But beauty could not erase fear. They had enemies. The High Council would search for them. Arya was a traitor in her people's eyes, and Jack was a threat to their laws. They had broken one of the strongest rules. No bonds with humans. Still, for now, they were safe. Jack brought Arya to a hidden cabin in the mountains. His old friend, Maya, lived there. She was a scientist and a good person. When Jack told her everything, Maya was shocked, but she believed them. "She's not just any alien, Jack," Maya said. "She risked her life for you. That's something rare." Arya and Maya became friends quickly. Arya helped with small tasks and learned Earth's ways. She was curious about everything from how birds made nests to why people drank coffee in the morning. But nights were hard. At night, Arya would look up at the stars, wondering if her people still watched her. She missed her sister. She missed her home. But when Jack held her hand, she knew this was the right place. Earth was her new beginning. Jack took Arya to a small town nearby. They wore simple clothes and used fake names. Nobody asked too many questions. Jack told people Arya was from another country. She spoke softly, listened more than she talked, and people liked her. One evening, while walking by the lake, Jack said, "Do you miss your planet?" Arya looked at the water. Yes, but I don't regret coming with you. Jack smiled. This place can be your home too, if you want it. She nodded. I already feel like it is. But danger was not far behind. One night, a strange noise came from the sky. A flash of blue light broke the clouds. Arya's face turned pale. That's not thunder, she whispered. Jack grabbed his old blaster. Stay behind me. The sky opened, and a small scout ship landed near the cabin. It was from Arya's world. Maya activated the defense shield around the cabin. We don't have much time, she said. Arya stood between Jack and the ship. Let me try something. She walked forward with her hands raised. From the ship, a single figure came out. It was Arya's sister Lyra. Arya, Lyra shouted. You must come back. This place is not safe for you. I'm not going back, Arya replied. This is my home now. Lyra looked tired, older than before. They sent me to bring you back. But I came to warn you. They won't stop. You broke the law, and the council is angry. Then let them come, Jack said, stepping beside Arya. We're not running anymore. Lyra saw the fire in her sister's eyes. She sighed. Then I'll help you hide better. But I can't return with you. Arya hugged her sister tightly. Thank you. Lyra gave them a new device. It could cloak them from scanners. This will make you invisible to our ships. Use it wisely. And just like that, she was gone. The next days passed quietly. Jack, Arya, and Maya built a better shield, planted a small garden, and added solar panels to the roof. Arya even got a petan orange cat she named Starlight. One morning, as they watched the sunrise, Jack said, Do you ever wonder how this all happened? You and me? Two people from different stars. Arya smiled. I think it happened. Because it was meant to. And for the first time in a long while, she felt peace. Earth was no longer just a planet. It was home, and in that quiet place, under the stars, a human and an alien found something rare, a love strong enough to change worlds. Hi, this story is made by a human just for fun. It's not real. All the characters and events are made up. Thanks for watching.